Okay, so today is June 24th, 2020, and I have just made a major commitment for the next year. And even though I don't know how I'm going to do it, I am going to do it. I have to do it. It absolutely scares the living shit out of me to do this, because everything in me says that it's just another opportunity to fail on a bigger scale. And I just realized that's bullshit. It's really bullshit. Why should I be destined to fail, quote unquote, fail this time? Except that if I just continue the pattern of repeating past behavior. I have to keep trying. I have to. It's the only way that I better myself is by raising that bar, and I'm raising that bar. I have nothing to lose. Man, this world can't depend on the world. I won't be able to depend on the government to sustain me. I'm given a really, really amazing opportunity right now to have the gift of collecting unemployment and receiving also a stimulus on top of that. That is something that what has happened with Donald Trump in office has really helped me personally. And I don't know. I don't know what anybody else would do. I haven't seen that, it's a long, cumbersome little spiral wormhole of what's going on in the world. I cannot change the friggin' world, but I can change me. And I can change how I respond to the world. And I look at having to really, really get focused. I have to really, really get focused to be able to pull this off. And I consider that as, it's like my actions create miracles by taking action. That is my mantra. And taking action is like the scariest thing for me. It has been the scariest thing for me because of fear of failure. And I recognize, as much as that I don't know how to do anything other than, because it's all I've practiced doing is the same old thing. And no matter how many times I've tried to get up and move and go, the stamina has never been there. It just, the longevity always somewhere down the line kicks me off of the platform, the path. And though I'm learning as I go, it's a freaking long learning lesson. I'm 52 years old. I don't have time to be wasting on another decade. Nobody does. Nobody has time for that shit. And I'm ready to pull up my bootstraps and document my progress. And if it can possibly inspire anybody, God, yes. That's what I'm talking about. God, everybody needs help. Everybody, we all need one another. That's part of being human. And we all need one another. We're all one. So I am connecting with my people of the kind of consciousness I want to be around. that I want to surround myself with and be a conduit for the higher mind. It is my will that be done. And from the things that I've learned from Neville Goddard and so many others, Brian Scott on YouTube, man, I shout out to to Brian Scott for reading so many books and getting that information out, because I own so many books. You would think that I was like, that's all I did with my life. And it's like something in me believes that just by having the books around, I'm absorbing their knowledge or something, because I intend to read them, but don't. Oh, and I do not want to get rid of them. I am attached to them. I recognize that. I'm not blind to that. I love my books. I love starting them and underlining how amazing they are, and then going out to try them before I even finish the book, because it's so amazing. Easily distracted. Aren't we all? I had to take a hiatus off of Facebook. I'm not doing Facebook right now. I just, yesterday, it was like, I just kind of put a heads out that I'm not doing it. And I didn't say for how long. And I'm not going to say for how long. I recognize I get to make choices. Ego really wants to like control everything. The future, tomorrow, right now. It wants to control tomorrow, right now. It's so like insecure. It wants to live in yesterday, fix things that can't be changed. You know, it wants to hold on to things. I mean, shit, man, we all have our thing. Everybody does. It's human nature. But something that I think that Chris Duncan has really, like what he spoke to in my heart a couple of weeks ago. I listened to a video that he had put out there, and it just really spoke to my heart because I recognize it's true. And that is, I'm not broken. You know, I'm not friggin' broken. And it's like it resonated with me so powerfully. Like so powerfully. The only other time that I have ever had that kind of like revelation experience where it just like, if I felt it in my body, not just like a concept in my head. I felt it in my heart, in my chest, in my body. And that was when I did DMT years ago. Now, DMT is in every living thing on the planet, and it's released in your body when you're sleeping, when you're dreaming. And it lasts for about 15 minutes if you're, you know, doing it voluntarily, as for whatever reason. I was doing it for spiritual. I was stepping out, you know, and experimenting. And you know, some people were saying, "Oh, well, you'll be like experience death and all this," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'm not going into it for any with no agenda." And it was amazing. I mean, I experienced this consciousness that told me that there was not anything that I could do to mess this up. It was like, it didn't say anything to me. I felt it. Everything was a feeling that that had language that was associated with those feelings that resonated within me, that I was able to interpret. You know, it's just so deep. And that, that sense of you're not broken, you're completely and totally loved. I experienced that in doing DMT, and it lasted for a couple of months. That feeling, not being like under the influence, but under the influence of the conscious change that it had made on me. And I think it was probably, it only lasted for 2 months because, I wasn't like regenerating that belief system, and I started letting life around me bring me down and just got distracted, which is all part of what happens when we don't have a regimen. And if you were raised like me, where I was raised based most of the time by one parent, and that was my mother. And our parents passed down to us what they experienced and their own struggles. It's just like, I so forgive my parents now. That had been a loop I was stuck in for decades of my life. And it wasn't until actually very recently that that it was shared with me by a couple of people that I sought guidance from. I'm in any case, I'm in such a different place with my parents now. I feel like my mom and I have really connected. I know that my father and I have, since they've crossed over. And most recently, I had this experience with my mom where, I don't know, I just felt her presence, and it was right. There's a bunch of things going on at that point, but I just was like, I felt like my mom was with me, and I just sat there, and it was like all of a sudden I got like overwhelmed with this feeling of like shame and guilt, and just started apologizing to her for being such like a dreaded teenage daughter. She was already a single mom, trying to do the right thing, taking me to church. Next thing you know, I come up pregnant, shame and everything. And it's just a lot. And she just like, was like, it's so okay. I forgive you. I love you. It was just so like, it was just so deep and meaningful, and that changed the consciousness in me, because then I had closure. I also have had closure with my dad. I feel like we're really good. I love my dad. I love my mom. It's if they're still here, kinda, because now I'm able to share communion with them, and it's really nice. I don't see them. I haven't seen them, but I have had things move before, which was kind of freaky a little bit. Just got to be honest. I wasn't expecting that, but that has happened. It was like, just let me know, hey, I'm here. I'm like, oh, you really are here. It's not all in my head, Yeah. So, anyhow, I just wanted to share this video just in case it might help somebody, anyone that can use it. I'm just sending it out to the universe. So, till next time.